The setting of this story starts off with a young man that can be seen playing a game on his computer. He also does poses, and thanks his donator. While doing the pose, he falls, gets distracted, and loses the game. As he attempts to retry the game, we find out that his name is Go Chiansu, and he's a streamer, although he only has one viewer. While communicating with his viewer, the viewer says something strange. Chiansu, not understanding what he's saying, only agrees. In the next moment, the whole apartment is shaken. While looking outside his window to see what's happening, he sees that the whole city is in a state of chaos. While looking down and unable to comprehend what is happening, he tries to communicate with his viewer, but the computer has shut down. While thinking that this is weird, he decides to go see the situation outside. As he exits his apartment, he sees somebody running towards his direction. While trying to reach out to the person to get any information, the person only screams and keeps running. While looking in the direction of the person, suddenly he starts seeing a chat window in front of him. While being surprised, the entities behind the chat window starts mocking him and copying him, as he realizes that they are reacting to what he's saying. He wonders if this is real or he's seeing things. He tries to touch the chat window only to find out that it is intangible. As the entities behind the chat window keep mocking him, one of the entities behind the chat window alerts him that someone is coming. As he sees the person approaches him, he realizes that it is a zombie. Suddenly it lunges at him. He kicks it away from him and makes a run for it. He hurriedly tries to get into the apartment complex, but the zombie breaks through and chases after him. As he tries to reach his home, he realized that it is too close and he needs to increase the gap between him and the zombie as much as possible. He heads for the roof and closes it behind him while he tries to catch his breath. He wonders if it was that mysterious explosion that caused the zombies. He thinks about how he will deal with the zombie on the stairs to get to his room. Suddenly he heard a noise and looks behind him and sees the landlord that is now a zombie. He tries to make a run for it but trips and falls. The zombie lunges at him as he is wrestling it away from him. He sees a chest in the corner of his eye. He then kicks the zombie off of him and jukes it so it falls off the building. As he tries to catch a break, more zombies appear at the door banging at it. While backstepping, he bounces on the chest he saw earlier and remembers one of the entities saying that it is a supply box. He opens it and finds a metal-based bat inside. As the zombies break through the door and rushes towards him, he assumes a fighting stance and thinks to himself that the end of the world is just a game. As the zombies continue to charge at him, he swings his bat but misses. It turns out that he is very scared and is unable to fight properly using a bat. He is then attacked by multiple zombies at the same time, and he tries his best to avoid the attacks, causing him to fall to the ground. He then gets up and breaks the bat, and uses the sharp edge of the broken bat to pierce the zombies through the neck. Killing them, he then heads down to his room in the apartment complex. While the entities question him if that is his home and saying they did not expect him to survive, he ignored them as he inspects the devices in his room. He realized that nothing is working and thinks to himself that the situation is worse than he thought. The entities question him about his plan from now on, and he replies that he is going to his parents' house, as he finds a scooter key and uses it to travel. As the entities chat amongst themselves, talking about something that he had made before he left, he thinks to himself that the entities talks as if it's their business what he does. He wonders if his parents are safe. Suddenly, something passes before him at high speed, causing him to fall off the scooter. As he gets up, he thinks to himself that, is that a tongue? But it looked like a skewer, as he sees a giant frog before him. As he is in shock, he thinks to himself that there are different things besides zombies like monsters. The entities warn him that he should watch where he's headed because the monster's tongue is no different from a tape measure. The monster attacks again. He manages to regain his composure and dodges, and he makes a run for it while thinking to himself, tape measure. So he just has to avoid straight paths. He runs into an alleyway and around the corner, dodging the monster's attack. He keeps going further into the alley while thinking that thing in his bag seems to be safe, although he made it in a hurry just in case. He did not think he had to use it right away. He reaches a dead end while being cornered by the monster. He pulls out a Molotov and taunts it and tells it to come at him. The monster then lunges at him. He dodges and lights and throws the Molotov on the monster, and then he takes out another one and throws at it again. While the monster shrieks in pain, he thinks to himself that he's got the monster's weakness, as he prepares his last one and taunts the monster again, and it attacks and he dodges it, lights and throws the Molotov, burning the monster to death. While the entities chat amongst themselves that they have never seen a fearless person like him. As Cheonsu looks at the monster's corpse and wonders to himself if it is over, he sees the entities talking amongst themselves, saying that no one was this good at the beginning of this game. As Cheonsu thinks to himself that he has his life on the line for this game, He's confused whether it's reality or not, but he won't die stupidly. Then, suddenly a window pops up before him saying, "Repeated Provocations Achievement. You've earned a skill, aggro, and record accumulation." As Chiansu is confused on what that is, the entities congratulate him on getting his first skill. While figuring out that it's all like a game, he calls skill window, as a window pops up before him with the skills and their functions. He then closes the skill window and starts heading back for his scooter and thinking about the safety of his family. But the scooter is damaged and unriddable, but since he's near, he can just walk there, as he hopes his family is safe. When he reaches his parents' house, he can only stare in shock at the sight of the place. He rushes inside, calling out for his parents, but the house is empty. While he thinks to himself that his parents keeps records well, they probably left some kind of trace as he searches the whole house. When he enters his room, he sees a note on his bed stating that his parents left with the military. While he is surprised by the note, some of the entity ask him if his father left him behind, while others ask if he is crying. He thinks to himself that something is weird, that with his father's personality he wouldn't leave first. Then he thinks that if it is a game, then the key element of the main story is to find the lead character, saying that there's a high chance that the scenario he is in was arranged with that intention. He then searches the house for food supplies while the entities chat amongst themselves if he isn't too peaceful. He replies to the entities saying that he needs to prepare himself to leave. He might have nothing to do with this place anymore. Suddenly he hears a noise. He grabs a knife before he investigates the noise. Then he realizes that it is coming from the outside. He rushes to the window to check outside. Suddenly a zombie attacks him from the window. He attacks it with the knife, getting free. He then closes the window and realizes that one of his skills is active because of the attack of the zombie. As he reads, he sees that the more monsters target him, and with each kill he gets, he becomes stronger. He picks up a hammer, deciding to test out his skills. Then a zombie starts banging on his door. He opens it and attacks the zombie while cursing at it. As more zombies approaches, he starts killing them through the door crack one by one while his skill count increases until there were no zombies left. He counts the amount of physical capabilities increases from his skill, saying that it's effective. Suddenly, he hears a noise from the kitchen and thinking that it's more zombies. Chiansu heads to the kitchen looking for the zombies, but then he sees a person hiding under the table. A few moments later, we can see the person cooking something for him and Chiansu. The entities ask Chiansu if he is out of his mind, asking if he's going to eat from a stranger. Chiansu replies that he fought all kinds of monster and have been starving all day. He's going to fill his stomach, saying that if he were to be threatened in any way, then he would ruthlessly. But he was unable to finish his sentence upon seeing the food in front of him. The entities mock him and say they look forward to it. The person start explaining that they work at Myongseoru kitchen and they didn't have enough delivery man, so he went out to deliver food instead, but was attacked by zombies. Chiansu replied, asking if he know how much he suffered because of the zombies he brought with him. The person apologized. Chiansu remembers the person begging him to not kick them out, saying that there are zombies outside and they are a really good cook and will cook for him. Chiansu tells the person that when he finish eating, he'll leave immediately. The person asks where he's going. Chiansu replied that a place he can get information. The person asks Chiansu if he wants them to go with him, saying that they know where an evacuation center is near a school, and he can gain a lot of information where people is gathered, saying that they would feel safe traveling with Chiansu. Chiansu thinks to himself that if this is a game, then this person might be an NPC that will guide him to the story. Chiansu agrees, and we also find out that the person's name is Young Mingyu. As they prepare to leave, Chiansu asks if they have something to ride. Then he asks Young Mingyu if he didn't come on a delivery bike. Mingyu says that he fell when he was attacked and left it behind. Chiansu says that they have a bicycle in the storage, but he's not sure if it's working. As Chiansu prepared to get his things, Mingyu went to look what's going on outside, while Chiansu packs his things. He heard Mingyu scream and rushed outside to see what's happening. He sees Mingyu being held by a huge creature going to eat him. Mingyu screams to be saved. Chiansu is in shock as to what that creature is. Some entities ask if he's going to fight it, while others tell him to ignore it and tells him he's screwed. If he tries to help Mingyu, Chiansu decides to make a run for it. While he rides away on the bicycle, he notices that Mingyu's screams has stopped. He looks behind him and sees the monster has noticed him, and it start to chase after him. He then sees Mingyu's bike. He jumped off his bicycle and got on the bike, immediately speeding off. As the creature chases closely behind, Chiansu thinks to himself that it will follow him to the end and he has to get rid of him. Chiansu tells the entities that he isn't easy to deal with, and if they want to make a bet, the scene shifts to evacuation area, where a man is instructing everyone to go inside a school, saying that they will build a barrier in the area soon, and a man can be seen saying that Mingyu hasn't returned yet. The person evacuating everyone says that he is probably already dead, and he should head inside. Upon hear that, the man got mad and asked how would he know that, saying that he could be just around a corner coming and they should wait a little. Someone else comes to calm the man and tell him that they should head inside because staying outside won't make a difference, but before they could head inside, Qiansu pulls up on Mingyu's bike with a giant finger. Surprising everyone, the man asks Qiansu in a shaken voice if that isn't Mingyu's bike, while others wonder if the man knows Qiansu. Qiansu replies to the man saying Mingyu's dead. The man, unable to comprehend what Qiansu just said, asks what does he mean. Qiansu replies that it's like he said and that he's busy right now. He then asked who's in charge. A man named Li Xiaojun stepped forward saying there is a chief but he's in charge. Qiansu introduces himself and the man asked if the corpse attached to the bike is of the giant creature. Qiansu replied, "So you already know about it," while thinking to himself that it's a good thing he brought it. The man said they already lost people to it and could only watch it from afar. He then asked Qiansu what happened to the monster, and Qiansu replied, "I hunted it," surprising Xiaojun and everybody else. Then we got a flashback of how Qiansu killed the big head. He talks with the entities and say he don't know if he'll survive trying to kill it. The entities ask what he's betting on, and Qiansu replies that he's betting his life, as the big head chase after him closely by. Qiansu realized that it's chasing him blindly. He asked the entities to do him a favor if he succeeds in return. Whatever he asks. Some entities say it doesn't have any merit for them, while other entities agrees. Qiansu then speeds towards a tunnel as the monster chases behind him. He speeds under a tunnel, causing the monster to hit its head while chasing Qiansu at high speed, killing it. Qiansu then asks Xiaojun if he can tell him the details later. Xiaojun say that they must check for infection first, but the people insist that he must goes in first because he killed the big head, and others say that he is like a real hunter. Xiaojun shows him the way, as they inspect Qiansu for any infection. The entities chat amongst themselves that he didn't really kill the big head since it died while running. After the inspectors inspect Qiansu and find nothing abnormal, they send him inside. Before he could go inside, the old man asked him about Mingyu, if he's really dead. Qiansu replied that he already told him that he's dead. Then Qiansu asked the man if he knew Mingyu. The old man replied that he is the owner of a Chinese restaurant that Mingyu worked at. Qiansu replied that they were supposed to come to the evacuation center together, but they couldn't, because of the monster. The old man then asked what about the bike. Qiansu replied that he didn't steal it from him, so he shouldn't worry, saying that he will never forget the Mapo tofu Mingyu made him, while the entities say that he's a good actor, and some saying he threatened him to cook for him. The old man is touched by Qiansu's words, and Qiansu heads into the center. As he enters the center, a window pops up in front of him saying he has left the tutorial, and from now on, he can increase your chances of survival by using the stats window. Good luck to the last man standing. Qiansu thinks to himself, it was a tutorial this whole time. The entities laugh and make fun of his shock after finding out he just only finished the tutorial. Well, this is where this video ends. If you wish to see more, please leave a like and hit the subscribe button and leave some feedback. Thank you.